my name is Jackie Jones, and today we're going to do a tutorial about a monster book of monsters. But I want to tell you why and kind of what makes me tick. So in our family, often if we see something done in a movie or something like that, we want to see if we can do it. And this book was one of the things that actually was so neat. I have to tell you a memory. One morning, this is my oldest daughter at the time, it was Christmas morning, and everybody had me go in the other room, and then they brought me in with my eyes closed, and it was one of the coolest mornings ever. I come around the corner, and on the floor, paper shredded everywhere, and my very own monster book of monsters in the middle, and I loved it. Loved it so much. And my daughter knows I'm crazy about that kind of stuff. So she had done the first one, and I've done a lot of different, I'm a designer and I build homes and I do staging and different things like that, but this is my passion to do these kind of things like this, is just to create. So I want to show you what we're gonna do. Okay, so I want to introduce you to, I can't remember what we named him. Somebody Peabody. Actually, I do have a name, I just cannot remember his name. So this is my monster book of monsters. You see those cute green eyes and those luscious teeth and tongue. Yeah, that's pretty gross. I love him. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to do this, okay? And I'm going to show you what is required. Okay, the first thing I did is I went and I had to find a book, and don't just pick up any old book, okay? It does need to have a hardcover. These are some of the things that I looked for. This is a smaller version, and I'll show you kind of the bigger ones really quick. I love, see the rough edges here? I love, and by the way, this didn't look like this when I got the book. Okay, I just got this at a thrift store, but I started munching it up, and I'll show you that on my tutorial why I did that. But you're looking for something that's aged, okay? Like even, I'll show you another one really quick. This one I won't do because I actually really like the color of this. It's really cool anyway. But look for something that's old, weathered, okay? But be kind to old books too. So find something like that, hardcover. I actually really like that size for a monster book of monsters. If you're gonna make it, okay? Make it big so it shows up. Okay, so the stuff you're gonna need, first you need the book. You're gonna need some good quality fur. This actually, I found this at, I think it was just Hobby Lobby. They have a lot of different ones there, but I love this one because of the multicoloring. It's kind of like got this ash color underneath that tips out to a black. Love it. You're gonna need tin foil. You are going to need some way to cook your polymer clay. Okay, so you've got your tin foil and fluff because you want to cook it on top of something like this after you're molding. You're gonna set it in something like this and it won't start on fire. But you're gonna cook it at low temperatures according to your directions on your polymer clay. And this is just a regular polymer cookable clay. This happens to be Sculpey that I used on this. I use different products on different things, but this works perfect for that sort of thing. So you got your tin foil. You're gonna need also some paints. One thing that I find just irreplaceable, I need a good sculpting tool. You really need a good sculpting tool. It doesn't have to be like the top of the line or anything because a lot of this gets hidden. And you want it to kind of look gnarly, a little bit gnarly, okay? Okay, eyeballs. Do I have eyeballs? We do have to have eyeballs. This is actually for a separate book. I'm gonna do a little smaller version for a friend, but the ones I used on my guy are green. I love them. And they're really cool. A couple of different things I need to tell you. On these eyeballs, if you're gonna do a lot of this, you're gonna wanna buy the glass eyeballs. They're a little bit more pricey. These are plastic. They worked great for this project, but like if I'm doing any big sculpting things or Santas or things like that, I will go for the glass eyeballs. And so you need you can do as many as 5 to 6 on your monster book of monsters. You'll need paint and, oh, and one last thing. You are gonna need a cool old belt. Okay, but you're gonna have to probably shorten it on the back side because most belts are a little bit bigger than your book. So let's get started. Okay, first thing you're gonna do is take these and just rough them up. Roughy, rough, 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 rough. because we really want it to look quite trashed when we're done. Okay, so this is where I'm at this point. I'm done kind of the, the armature out of tinfoil, where this is going to hold, I'll show you, the eyeballs. I'm going to do 5 across. So actually this will hold the eyeballs, and you can kind of see I've got 1, 2, 3, and then 4 or 5 spots for the eyes to kind of inset. These are actually not glass eyes, they're plastic, so I can't cook them with the clay. So I've just got to make an insert for that to go in, and then this bridge right here is the nose, and then I've got tendons kind of coming down right here and here. And that sets up there like this. And it's going to get covered with hair. Whoop, come back. So, and then inside of here, what I've done is I've got a tongue. And I've seen this done with ribbon, but this one I think I'm going to do with clay. And this is the top piece of the upper jaw and teeth. And it'll just get glued into there after I do some clay on it. And then the bottom is almost the exact same thing. And it's just stuck right now, sorry about that, stuck right now just in there. To just make sure everything lines up, everything looks good, it's a good size, which I kind of like. And we're gonna go from there, start doing clay. Okay, so I've just been sculpting this. I'm trying to make it look like the teeth are actually coming out of gums and that the roots are coming down, and this little thing, which my friend told me the name of it, but if I say it, it's probably going to be a bad word, so I'm not going to say it. And you can kind of see I've wrapped a little bit of clay around these, and then I'm dragging it down, and then I'm putting a little bit like score marks into the teeth so it looks like they've been kind of hammered. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little review on where we are, what I've been working on. I'm now on the tongue. However, okay, so let me bring it down, and I'll show you really quickly. So right here is what's been done so far. I've got 2 pieces. This one, whoops, is going to be glued on this side, and the other one will be glued down here on the bottom. And it's a little bit bigger, but what's nice about this is once this is all done, and right now it's cooked, it's just a polymer clay, but once this is cooked, which it is, but it does have to cool before it hardens. And sometimes I'll even stick them in a couple of different times. But then I'm going to start working on this. This has got the tinfoil base, and I'll bend that after I sculpt it because I want to give it a little bit of texture and the line down the tongue and everything. But then we'll put that in, and then I'm working on this part. Okay. Just thought I'd quickly show you the tongue. So what I did is I made sure that we could get kind of a, you can kind of see how it kind of goes, oops, that's kind of hard to see, in. And thick enough that it won't break once it's all done. And now I'll find something, I'm not sure what, to texturize this. So, I'm going on. Okay, so here I am. I actually had to cut this back quite a bit because it came out like this. So I cut the tinfoil, basically covered the front and back in the clay, and then started placing the eyes. I've already got the form of the nose underneath slightly, but I want to make sure that I've got the pockets of the eyes because those are really the most important, because we're going to put fur over the top to make it look good too. Now I've started right here where I'm creating the eyelid, but on these are not glass eyes, so I can't cook them. So I'm going to pop these out after I get this all done, and there'll be a pocket that I can glue them back in once this is cooked and hardened. Okay, so this just shows you the first stages, and this is literally the watered down black right here. Still just kind of picking it up. The teeth I did, this is the flat color, so this is the beginning color. I did kind of a peachy, fleshy pink. A lot of people do other ones. That yellow is not actually as bright as it shows on this camera. It's a really, really pale yellow. And isn't that weird that it shows up so bright yellow? Anyway, so now, of course, I'm just going to do the wash, the black, super black wash. I got to do this through the camera. I really can't. And right in through here. And then we're going to bring it out a little bit more with highlights in a minute. But I'll kind of just show you. I'm just going to go like this, rub it out. This is why my hands look so pretty by the time I'm done. But I want to make sure that all those areas that need just a little bit of help making that pop. Just add those in there. So just doing that with a super watered down black, and you can really see that start to kind of pop now. I don't even know if I'm actually recording. Am I? Yes, I am. Okay, so we're just getting in there, getting that kind of washed out. And there. That's about it for now on the gums. Now I got to do the teeth. Okay, so what I'm doing here now is, so what I did first of all is painted this all, you saw the brown. Then I started adding black. I think I showed you, in between these areas where and a lot underneath the eyes and in between here. And then I added the highlights, and actually I wanted just a tint of green because actually there's a lot of ash color in this fur. It's a really kind of a platinum that goes out to gold into the tips of dark. So I'm trying to make it match that so it looks like it belongs with it. So I added, you can barely see it, but when the light hits it just right, there's just a smidge of an ash kind of green underneath here on the ridges. And I love it with the eyes too. Okay, then I took some pieces of fur and I cut them super, where's my finger? Super thin. And then one trick with fur is if you pull it, from one end to the other, it stretches and it kind of pops. And then I'm just really delicately cutting tiny strips and putting them along for eyelashes, and then I'll insert it into the book. Okay, I wanted to just kind of show you how this ended up. I made sure that no glue was showing around the eyes, so if you have to take a little extra fluff, but I love it. Now I've got to add a little bit. I think I'm going to add just a smidge on the bottom because I think that would be weird if it was only on the top. So now I'll do that, and I love, this fur is so cute. I don't know if you can see it. Probably better with the white, but it's got these black tips. It's awesome. Okay, so here I am. I've got the eyelashes on the top, and I'll just kind of fluff them up because I had to pull them, set them back so you could kind of see them. But I've got eyelashes top and bottom. And I'm actually, believe it or not, going to use a little bit of hairspray to kind of keep those out of the way. So once I finish it. So the thing I did notice when I was doing this, I wanted this not to look too mean, obviously. So one of the ways that you can do that, let me just get that out of there. Sorry. Got to watch what I'm doing while I'm doing this, is if you slant the outside of the eye, like here on this side, oh, there you go, on the sides, rather than in here on any of those, it'll give it a little bit kinder look. Looks kind of more worried than it does angry. This is angry. This is worried. Okay. And that will cause, your little ones not to be too terrified. So the other thing that I noticed is once I had this kind of covered up is that I couldn't see a lot of, I couldn't see the nostrils. And so what I want to do right now is very, very carefully take a super thin little brush, and I'm going to go inside here with the black. And now that I can see that that's what it needs. Okay, so this is where I'm at this point. So I went ahead and I cut one piece. Some people say do two, but I actually don't want the seam on the back side. I want it to flow really nicely. So what I did is I cut one full piece, and I left a huge, well, as much as you can anyway, all the way around the book. Make sure that you roll the book out so that you know exactly what you're getting. So you got this. And I started gluing on the spine, and I'm just rolling it this way and gluing it, then rolling it down and then gluing it. And you want to really make sure it gets sealed good before you move on. Okay, so I feel like that's pretty good here. Now I'm going to go and I got to glue this guy down so good right on my book. I've already fluffed all the pages way ahead of time because I needed to know how much distance I had for the teeth between here and here. And one little trick, because I like it to look like it's been munched up, and I'm going to add more, ripped pages and stuff when I'm done. But because it will compress each time and you don't want your teeth knocking together, I'll show you that in a minute. What I did is I took two just plastic resin discs and I glued them right in there. And I'm going to make sure that that is kind of glued down so you can't see what's in there, but it'll hold that up so that it's not a problem. Okay, gluing this monster nose and eyeballs next. So I have to show you, this is kind of the fun part for me is, okay, so I need to kind of show you what I did here. What I did is, there's a trick to cutting fur that you need to know about though, so that you don't ruin it and get all these bald spots. So what I did is I pulled it past the point, so I came to, whoops, hold on, sorry. I came to about here, and then made my slit on the fur from about here to here, and then here, and then another one here, and they're relief places, so that as I pull this over, you know, I want it to look as natural and organic as possible, as a monster book of monsters can be. So as I do this, I'm going to kind of incorporate and move some of these pieces of hair around, pulling out around the eyes so it actually looks like it's got, well, I can kind of show you, you know, that it's got this stuff on purpose that's eyelashes too, or eyebrows, or whatever you want to call them. They're about as close as they could get. So anyway, so we'll continue, but it's starting to look kind of cool, and I like it. Okay, so I should probably show you what I'm doing. Okay, so real quick, I glued, let's see what we got, if we can show you here. I glued the top on. Yeah, it's facing, well, let me move this down. I'll show you what I got. I got the top jaw on here, glued it good. This fur is going to come down and cover it slightly, and then I'll be making some kind of those hairy tendril things. I don't even know what they are called, but so far so good. And then I just lined up, hold on, it's just bad recording, I realize, so sorry. And then I just lined up the jaw line and drew my line so I knew where to glue it on. Then I'll cover it with this, glue that so that that's all covered, and then we'll go with the tongue. So here I am. It's coming along. Let me show you what I did here. So as I started to cut the pieces, in fact, something bugging me there. As I started to cut like the scraps, and you're going to cut them in little strips, boom, 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 boom. And I figured out if I take the corners off the strip so it's this shape, and then I glue down the middle of the strip, I can glue that in and fold it, and then bring it to a, you know, some sort of a point. And I've just done the front. Let me show you kind of how this is looking. So right now, it's kind of, I like how this is looking because I think it looks really natural. And some kind of going up and some going down. And then what I did is I had to make sure, because underneath here, you know, if I put an extra little bit of fur here. And in fact, it looks like I need to put some here because that shows you what it looked like before. And so I'll put a little tiny bit of fur underneath there. And then, you know, you don't just get that funky gum looking thing there. But then I'm kind of pulling the fur to points. It kind of has a spidery feel, but not. Of course, this is, you know, the Monster Book of Monsters. One of the things that I love about this is that because bringing these to a point, I gotta get that glue off there, it's gonna bug, is I'll probably put a little bit of wax on my fingers to kind of get it to point out, because on this fur, because it's black tipped, oh man, does it look cool. So you can kind of see how this is. Here's kind of a demonstration of how I'm cutting these. I'm just skinning up the bottom of it, or the top of it, and then I'll glue it and fold it over. And then this is starting to take shape up here. Okay, look at this. This is it. I love him. Okay, I want to show you kind of how I finished this off, because the last one I was showing you is how to bring these to a point. And I said that I was going to probably get some wax or something and be able to do this and just, you know, skinny these out on the ends like so, because you can actually really pick up the black tips on here. One thing that I loved that ended up super fun is because I had done that hair play, I did give him a little mustache right here, which I love. And depending on where you're displaying this, depends on how much hair you want fluffed in the front, because you know what, his eyes, you want him to show up. But backing up a little bit, I finished doing all of these. I had already laid this out, and then the finishing touches were to put the tongue in, make sure that's glued, and look at me for a sec. One of the things that's really important is when you're gluing that tongue in, it's because it's going into the center of the book, you've got to glue page after page after page after page so that it's not just hanging on to 2 pages, okay? So you're gonna have to stack the glue inside of here so that it's glued perhaps from here down to here. So anyhow, and then the last touch you do is you get your old belt. Now one thing you might have to do, and I think I can show you here, is I had, oh, it doesn't show, but I had to shorten the belt and so it would fit just right. And go for a really soft, real leather if you can, if you want it to look authentic and really, you know, organic and authentic. Go for a real belt that looks aged, okay? Don't go for anything really shiny and new because it's not gonna go with the motif of, you know, monster to monster. So, and then you're gonna strap that puppy down right here, because if you know what happens, if you release this Kraken, you may want to back up a little bit because watch out, because he goes.